Get ready, folks. The trade war is back, and it's hitting hard. Just weeks into his second term, President Trump has ignited a firestorm by slapping tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China. This isn't just about politics, it's about your wallet. Trump's move on Friday included a whopping 25% tariff on goods from Canada and Mexico and a 10% tariff on Chinese products effective Saturday. We're talking about potentially huge price spikes on everyday items. Trump says it's about cracking down on illegal immigration and fentanyl smuggling, but it's also part of his promise to boost domestic production. The White House insists these are promises made, promises kept, but what's the real cost? The implications are massive. Many voted for Trump hoping he'd curb inflation. Now, these tariffs could send prices soaring, disrupting energy, auto, lumber, and agriculture sectors. We're not just talking about pennies, folks, we're talking about potentially significant increases. Trump's not just facing economic risks, but political ones too. His decision has sparked criticism, even from some of his own supporters. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democratic leader, stated, "We should focus on going hard against competitors who manipulate the game, like China, instead of attacking our allies." These tariffs will raise the prices of everything from groceries to cars and gas, making it even more difficult for middle-class families to make ends meet. The U.S. relies heavily on Canada and Mexico for oil, importing millions of barrels daily.
We don't need their oil and gas. We have more than anybody.
A critic.
That's on top of millions of barrels produced here at home daily. But this is the thing, Trump seems determined to keep these tariffs in place.
Or oil.
You can always become a state. And if you're a state, we won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you.
But would they?
Trump also hinted at more tariffs soon, including on computer chips and even the EU. The stock market reacted sharply to the news, with the S&P 500 dropping immediately. Why? Because, get this, experts are predicting retaliation, and possibly a full-blown trade war. Wendy Cutler, a former U.S. trade negotiator, warns that all three countries might retaliate, and we are seeing that happening already. China has already responded aggressively to previous tariffs by targeting American farmers with tariffs on agricultural exports. Kurt Ton, an expert on Asia, said he was surprised by the new tariffs on China, especially given that they had established open communication channels before. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that Canada is ready with a purposeful, energetic, but reasonable response if Trump moves forward, stating the tariffs would have disastrous consequences for the U.S., putting American jobs at risk.
President Trump stated yesterday he is still committed to placing tariffs on Canada starting as early as tomorrow, possibly. Now, we don't know precisely what that could look like, but I do know two things. First, the president does choose to implement any tariffs against Canada. We're ready with a response. A purposeful, forceful, but reasonable, immediate response. That if tariffs are implemented against Canada, we will respond. We won't relent until tariffs are removed, and of course, everything is on the table.
And that, did you know that less than 1% of fentanyl and illegal crossings into the U.S. come from Canada? On the other side, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said that Mexico has maintained an ongoing dialogue with Trump's team since before he returned to the White House, but that Mexico has a Plan A, Plan B, Plan C for whatever the U.S. government decides. "We will always defend the dignity of our people," she stated. The Chinese embassy in Washington also stated that there is no winner in a trade war, and that the countries should solve their differences through dialogue and consultation. It has been confirmed that they will retaliate if necessary. A recent study from the Peterson Institute for International Economics concluded that these tariffs would hurt all the economies involved, including the U.S. In fact, they believe that the economic decline caused by the tariffs could increase the incentives for Mexican migrants to cross the border illegally, directly contradicting Trump's stated goal. The question now isn't whether this is going to be a problem. The question is, how big of a problem this will be and how long it will last. If these tariffs persist, we are all going to see supply chain disruptions, increased costs for American manufacturers, and higher prices for consumers. This could lead to more tension and have a major impact on both the American and global economy. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the News Pulse, and share this important news with everyone you know. Stay informed, and stay with us.